The main part of my presentation is really to introduce Repsol. Since the acquisition of Talisman, we've had many questions in going about our business in Papua New Guinea about Repsol and Repsol's commitment to Papua New Guinea. So the main focus is to explain who Repsol are for those who've not come across the company before, and then where Repsol sees Papua New Guinea. So Repsol is an integrated oil company. With the acquisition of Talisman earlier this year, became a company of 27,000 employees in over 40 countries in every continent. We did have this slide with the names of the countries on it, but it got too busy. It's the third largest oil and gas company in Papua New Guinea. Not of the same magnitude as Exxon and Total, but very high up in the next league of companies. On the upstream side, with the acquisition of Talisman, our production now stands at over 650,000 barrels of oil equivalent per day, with a 2.2 billion BOE proven reserves. In the refinery side, our downstream side, we've got 1 million barrels a day of refining capacity, mainly in Spain and Portugal, and somewhere around 4,700 service stations. So headquartered in Madrid. I think all the speakers have touched on every major oil company has to have a level of integrity, responsibility, transparency, flexibility, and innovation. We all say the same things, but you cannot survive in oil and gas internationally if you don't actually walk the talk and live with it all the way through your operations, and more particular in your field operations in remote places in Papua New Guinea. The people you put on the ground are the people that are actually seen first and believed. So a little bit about our upstream business. In acquiring Talisman, Repsol gained a significant footprint in Southeast Asia, and in that Southeast Asia portfolio is Papua New Guinea. Repsol sees Southeast Asia and Papua New Guinea in particular as one of its growth platforms for the future. Again, we've had over 40 discoveries in the last 8 years, so a very successful explorer. We've had an average investment in upstream in 3 billion euros per year, which equates to something like 3.3 billion US. And a growth in Repsol from 2011 to 2016 of 7%. That was before the Talisman acquisition. So the production growth has been about 86% with the Talisman acquisition. So a significant step change for the company. As I say, production now stands at over 650,000 barrels of oil equivalent per day. And a reserves replacement ratio from 2011 of 120%, but in the last 3 years that replacement ratio was about 200%, so that highly successful explorer in recent years. Repsol's commitment to Papua New Guinea. We're a large-scale E&P business, ranked about 15th in the world, which, along with our downstream business, which in times of low oil price can balance the company's finances, we've got a strong balance sheet to grow going forward. And we see Papua New Guinea as one of our key growth areas upstream. As far as that goes into action, Repsol and the guys of Talisman has acquired more than 2,000 kilometers of 2D seismic in the 6 years or so we've been active in PNG. And recently we completed a 250 kilometer 2D seismic program in the foothills in PPL 269. Over the years, last 5 years, we've drilled either as operator or with the joint venture partners 14 wells and matured up 3 TCF of 2C reserves. In the next 12 months, we'll drill our first 2 wells in the foothills in PPL 269. And we've consistently exceeded our minimum work commitments based on where we see the best opportunity to explore and grow our portfolio. And we have a future focus on LNG expansion. We are targeting reserves to underpin future LNG, and we believe in an integrated supply chain approach to the LNG solution. Just for a bit of a timeline, Repsol, as we are now, have been in Papua New Guinea in many guises. Talisman acquired the Southeast Asia assets of Lundin in 2001, and after a pause in 2008, conducted a 3D seismic program over what was PRL-1 offshore in the Gulf and on the Pandora discovery. We then acquired Rift Oil in 2009, and from then really started to explore significantly in Papua New Guinea, where we conducted over 2,000 kilometres of seismic in those 14 wells. The story going forward, we're maturing the Stanley development and PDL-10. We've had a recent liquids discovery in northwest Cocoa, which was interesting when we were looking for oil. We found gas. So we see for Repsol strategy in Papua New Guinea, we see that we will underlock the Western Province gas resource. Our continued focus in exploration and looking for solutions to aggregate our discovered resources to future LNG projects. We believe that collaboration of discovered resources is the quickest way to move those resources to LNG and revenue. So just focusing in on the immediate 12 months for Repsol. Let's say we'll focus on our exploration program. We've got 2 very exciting wells to start our exploration in the foothills in PPL 269. And we'll continue to develop future LNG prospects from those discoveries. We are operator of Stanley PDL-10, and we're working closely with Octeri Mine to find a gas-to-power solution that will benefit both Stanley and the Octeri Mine life extension. And we continue to work closely with the local landowners in that area. Stanley, like all projects, is challenged in this current cost environment, but we believe we can find a solution there. And we'll work with our joint venture partners to mature the development of PRL-21, the Elevala and Ketu discoveries.